Hello and welcome to Wildlife Cam. It's been pretty hot lately. It's getting up into the mid to late 30s every day, but it's quite dry. It's been a while since we've had any rain, so the temperatures are tolerable. This is a ground scraper thrush. We don't get them here very often, and I think this is the first time we've had one at the pond. It was very suspicious of the camera. It is related to starlings like Cole, so that probably explains its little grumpy face and its lack of trust in the camera. The two young civets have been visiting almost every night and usually several times. So civet 5 is the much bolder of the two. It took a while before civet 6 actually came and gave me a good view of its right hand side, and it wasn't this time. The eagle owl's still on the hunt for toads. There have been a few at the waterhole, but not as many as there were in previous years before the owls figured out what an easy source of food they are. So the young civets seem to have now separated from their mother. We didn't see her at all with them over the week. Now they are solitary animals, so the two youngsters are going to go their separate ways at some point, but at least they have each other for a little bit of company now as they become more independent. The baby impalas are growing quickly, and so they've survived the most dangerous part of their lives when they're in their first few weeks. The little baby elephant on the left is really enjoying its trunk. Carl and Mrs. Carl were obviously hoping to have a nice quiet swim, but this rabble of rowdy red-billed buffalo weavers were too much for them, and eventually they just moved off. We haven't had hyenas for some time. I'd actually forgotten about them until this one suddenly pitched up for a swim. This striped skink has a great hunting strategy. It sits and waits for the food to deliver itself right into its mouth. This was a false alarm. That's a genet in the background. Drink is about to be disrupted. The genet made its way into the tree. You can see its eye there just to the right of the elephant's tusk. After the elephant left, the genet stayed in the tree for a while, which was smart because then these two jackals pitched up. And one of them was very interested in the spot there near where the genet is. It hung around there for quite a long time before eventually having a drink and moving off. I didn't see the genet come out of the tree. It must have snuck out the back, and then a few minutes later, I don't know if it's the same one, I'll just pretend that it is, came and had a much safer drink at the pond. Eventually Civet 6 plucked up the courage to come and have a proper drink, and so I got a decent look at its right side to get its markings down. Another first for the pond, the dwarf mongooses. We do get them in the garden very occasionally, but I've never seen them at the pond. It's our smallest mongoose species. You know it's starting to dry out when the duiker starts coming back to the waterhole. Almost having a proper swim, the banded mongooses. Some of them are getting right in there, but they can't quite bring themselves to go in all the way. A lovely picture of coal that the camera sent me as a notification image. It has been hot, so we've been getting quite a few birds coming to the pond, but without the humidity that we had a little while ago, it hasn't been the same flocks that have been coming in for a swim. It's just the odd one here and there. The flat rock scorpion, our largest scorpion species. They look intimidating, but their sting is pretty useless. They can give you a nasty pinch. Civet 5 is quite easy to identify. It has a question mark marking just on its belly in front of its back leg. And then our regular little warthog group pitched up after an absence of a month or so with a new member, just one baby. So they normally have 4 or 5, so I guess the predators have been at them already. I thought that Carl had been quite well behaved this week, and then I noticed a smudge on the screen, and when I went back to check the recording I saw that he'd come in for a very brief attack. And the smudge that Carl left behind I couldn't clean off because he did it in the evening and I didn't want to go down there, so it blocks out the cute little baby elephant. Another little visitor returning as it gets drier, the scrub hare. Thanks for watching.